I'm Joseph Kiernan, the Interim University Provost. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone here today. We're pleased to see our students, faculty, staff, administrators, trustees, platform party members, and guests to the 2008 Academic Convocation. We have a very special honor and a very special guest today. We'll have with us the Secretary General of the United Nations, Mr. Ban Ki-moon. He is on campus and will be entering in just a moment. Fairleigh Dickinson is one of a select few universities that the Secretary General has addressed since being named to that post in 2006. Today's visit marks the very first address delivered by Ban Ki-moon in the state of New Jersey. His visit comes at a very special time in FDU's history, and in particular for this campus, as this year we are celebrating the 50th anniversary of the College at Florham. I'm looking for the signal, and then he'll be able to come in. Okay, please rise and welcome Secretary General of the United Nations, Ban Ki-moon. He is being escorted by President Adams and Chairman of the Board, Patrick Zenner.
It is my honor to deliver on three enviable assignments. The first is to recall the historic relationship of Fairleigh Dickinson University with the United Nations. The second is to introduce our distinguished guest, Mr. Ban Ki-moon, the Secretary General of the United Nations. And the third is to award the Secretary General an honorary doctorate from Fairleigh Dickinson University. By the way, if you go to the mansion, you will find a plaque on the wall that lists all the delegates and members of distinction from the United Nations who have also received an honorary doctorate from us. Sir, you will be number 14 to be added to that plaque. I suggest that there is no other university that has so recognized and so acknowledged its alignment with the United Nations as FDU. Fairleigh Dickinson has been associated with the United Nations since the creation of the organization in 1945. Our founder, Peter Sammartino, embraced the idea and ideals of a world body. He knew that having the UN headquarters nearby represented a rare opportunity to help students better understand the world. Students and faculty visited the United Nations, and ambassadors regularly lectured and taught on campus. One diplomat from Iran, Nasrullah Fatemi, founded the university's Institute of Graduate International Studies. In recent years, we've made a commitment to renewing and strengthening those ties. Our year 2000 declaration of a university mission to prepare global citizens through a global education confirmed that. In an era of global interdependence, where the potential for disaster is so great, the only path to peace is education and dialogue. Tanks don't work. That's why we take so seriously our association with the UN. Education, and particularly higher education, must be in partnership with the only organization representing nearly every nation on the planet and designed to collectively ensure peace and prosperity. For that reason, FDU has added information about and access to the UN as part of the mosaic of an undergraduate education here. We earned accreditation as an NGO associated with the Department of Public Information, and we created the UN Pathways program. Since 2002, the Pathways program has brought 60 seated ambassadors or heads of state to campus for interaction with students, faculty, and staff. And that's just one small example of the depth and breadth of Fairleigh Dickinson's involvement. Today, we have the unique opportunity to hear from and learn from the individual entrusted with leading the mission of the United Nations. An individual who well knows the importance of bridging divides through tolerance, understanding, and education. At FDU, we've also enjoyed a long and close relationship with people and institutions in Mr. Ban's native land of South Korea. Just last month, I visited there and met with a group of alumni who had wonderful recollections of their experiences at FDU. I'm delighted to report to you that with us today to welcome the Secretary General is the President of Kongnam University and the former Minister of Unification in Korea, Dr. J.Q. Park. Dr. Park is one of FDU's most distinguished graduates. Joining him is Ambassador Sun Young-hoon, former ambassador to the UN from the Republic of Korea. With our connections to the United Nations and the Republic of Korea, we have all the more appreciation for the distinguished career of Mr. Ban Ki-moon. We take great pride today in honoring the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations. At the time of his election as Secretary General in late 2006, he was serving as the Republic of Korea's Minister of Foreign Affairs and Trade. Through his career, he has steadily advanced his vision of a peaceful, prosperous, and influential Korean peninsula. His ties to the United Nations go back to 1975, when he worked for the Foreign Ministry's UN division. That work expanded over the years, and in 2001, he was the Chief of Cabinet during Korea's presidency of the General Assembly. Among many accomplishments, he directed the prompt adoption of the first resolution of that session, condemning the terrorist attacks of September 11th. Mr. Ban has also been active with inter-Korean relations, having served as the Vice Chair of the South-North Joint Korean Control Commission. Now, as head of the United Nations, he is charged with nothing less than leading and inspiring the international community to work together to overcome humanity's most difficult troubles. He says his view of the United Nations can be summed up by the spirit of principled pragmatism. Under his leadership, the United Nations is driven by a moral calling, backed up by hard work and realistic solutions. From spearheading efforts to reach the 8 Millennium Development Goals, to championing UN internal reforms, from negotiating complex conflicts in places like Darfur, to confronting what he calls the defining issue of our age, global warming, Mr. Ban has wisely and courageously charted the path to progress. The challenges we face today are indeed many, but his resolve is strong. And so now, on this 10th day of September, in the year 2008, in honor of his extraordinary accomplishments and his legacy of excellence, in admiration of his determination to build a stronger United Nations,